Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports and Songs podcast. We're on season 6, episode number 34. Tonight's the sports edition, Andy.
Sports.
I see you've got the Bemidji State t-shirt on.
Bemidji strong still. They're rebuilding up there. They're doing good.
A lot of storms blew through there. Today is June 30th, 2025, last day of June. We're in the thick of things here for summer. We got a sports episode for you. The late Dave Parker passed away.
Yes.
Parkinson's, age 74. We'll have a trivia question on that, get to the answer at the end, and then we'll move on with some sports.
Yes.
Did you know that Dave Parker owned a franchise or a couple of franchise locations in the fast food industry after his baseball playing days? What restaurant chain, what was the name of the restaurant fast food chain that he owned? We'll get to the answer at the end, but let's get into some sports.
We cover sports here sometimes.
Yes.
Let's talk about some of them. Let's start with Dave Parker, the Cobra. One of the first idols, heroes, I guess, I don't know what term you want to use, recognizable names as a kid growing up. Late 70s, had the We Are Family Pirates with him and Willie Stargell and Kent Covey and Chuck Tanner as a manager there. So kind of one, like I said, one of the first big names I remember growing up as a kid, Dave Parker. And I love this shirt. I want this shirt now. And every time I hear Dave Parker, this and the hat. I mean, that's what I remember from that team in those days. They were just fun. They were a good group, a fun-loving group. And without going outside bar, that's kind of what the 87 Twins reminded me of, just a good, fun group. Not saying those two teams were comparable, but the attitude in the clubhouse. Just a good, fun group. Dave Parker will be missed. So his highlights, who's the Pirates, the Reds, the A's, Brewers, Angels, Jays at the end of his career there. You see there, 3-time Silver Slugger, including 86 with the Reds and 90 with the Brewers. His 1 year at the Brewers, he got the Silver Slugger there. Batting champion in 77, 78. RBI leader in 85 with the Reds. Pirates and Reds Hall of Fame. Of course, finally makes it into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame and misses it by a couple weeks being at the induction. Thanks to Parkinson's. Here's one thing I saw on Dave Parker's Wikipedia page. I just kind of bothered me. I know we've talked about his incidences in the past. Parker never got more than 24% of the votes for the Baseball Hall of Fame ballots. And his 15-year Baseball Writers Association of America eligibility was exhausted on the $20 ballot. He had some issues with a drug trial, which a lot of people think writers held against him. Keith Hernandez has that same problem. Tim Raines, who finally did get in on there. Parker was elected on the Classic Baseball Era Committee's 25 ballot and was elected with 87.5% of the vote, appearing on 14 of 16 ballots. Okay, now here's what kind of pisses me off. The regular writers, who are the current writers nowadays, the guys who are writing today, blah, 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 we know everything, we're whatever. Never voted him in. Guys writing today who probably weren't even born yet when he played or were following baseball when he has issues. Oh, he did bad things. Let's not vote him in. Then you get to the Baseball Classics Committee, and they look at numbers, not personalities. And he gets it on 14 and 16 votes right away. Mm-hmm. They got to change that in baseball. In 2013, he confirmed to the Pittsburgh Tribune Review that he had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. He was involved in raising money to find a cure for Parkinson's disease through the Dave Parker 39 Foundation. We are not big ones here on saying donate money, but when people have passed, we say, hey, they have a charity. Hey, they have a charity. If this is something close to you, you want to give to that charity, please check out the Dave Parker 39 Foundation.
Yeah, good stuff. I didn't know some of those stats. In fact, like you mentioned earlier, the fact that he played with the Brewers and the Blue Jays, I think it blew my mind. I was not following baseball that much in those years. Yeah. I did have some baseball cards, Andy. Now check this out.
Yep, show them.
And once again, of course, here's the only 3 that I had with Oakland and 2 with the Pirates. There, one is the NL All-Star. These are the old school Dave Parker that I know and love back in the late in the 70s.
Yep. I remember the A's once he got World Series ring there. Yeah.
And so I went through my collection. Those are the 3 that I had. I was a Dave Parker fan, but Not in those later years. I didn't know that.
And go back and look at some YouTube videos of him in the All-Star game with his arm throwing out guys
Yes,
at the plate and stuff. Just incredible gun.
that is. You almost have to do that. It's fantastic to watch some of his stuff. And he was a 6'5", 230, 235.
Yeah.
Later he was 245 maybe, but a big guy.
Well, who are
Just
we
a
to talk
big
about gaining
body.
weight when you get older?
Yes, he was a beast. Very fun to watch.
And the Cobra, just watch him swing, and he just coiled up like a Cobra and just pounced. It was incredible. Paige Bueckers is the only rookie to start for the WNBA as an all-star starter this year. Big shock. And there's your captains, Collier from the Wolves and Clark from the Fever, the leading vote getters on the East and the West. That's who your captains are then. And look at Caitlin. Last year had 700,000 votes. This year, almost 1.3 million. Almost doubles her votes, but yet, Clark was named captain because she received fan votes, a record-setting 1.29 million, but she did not get the highest weighted score amongst guards. While she finished first with the fan voting, third in media, and ninth among player voting as a result. There was a lot of player hate towards her. And again, that's say what you will. We've kind of tickled on it, and we really don't want to go down that rabbit hole on why she's hated by players. If you have a third grade education, you could figure it out. The media hating her, I'm going to kind of put in that same bucket. So there I said it. The WNBA also today, we've talked about how Toronto and Portland were given franchise teams. Also, so today were Cleveland, Philly, and Detroit. Cleveland and Detroit had teams in the past. They will now get expansion teams as well. So it's going to be 18 teams coming up in the W. Is this going to dilute talent? No, it just shows how good the college game is and how better the players are getting. Yes, and the league popularity, you want to expand it too, but we're losing so many players to Europe. Let's keep them here. It's kind of like any other business. Let's keep our companies in America. Hey, there we go. And here is the standings in the W right now through June 29th. There was no games today, so these standings are still true after today. There's the Lynx in the West, 14-2. New York, 11-5, and they were 8-0 at one time, I believe. So they've kind of come back to earth. Phoenix Mercury are second at 12-5. You got Seattle. You got the Golden State there. You got the Vegas. You got the Sparks. And you got the rest of the Dallas Wings there at the bottom. The other side, you got the Connecticut Sun at the bottom. We'll go bottom to the top on the East. Connecticut, Chicago, Washington Mystics, Fever at 500. The Atlanta Dream. And the New York Liberty at 11-5, leading the East. Sports and songs, 80s baseball stat of the week.
Okay.
The last team with 3 pitchers who threw 10 or more complete games in a season was the 87 Royals. Gubicza had 10, Danny Jackson 11, Saberhagen had 15. From 1970 to 87, 41 teams had 3 or more pitchers throw 10 or more complete games in a season, including 7 of them in 1974 alone. Since 1987, 0 teams have had 3 pitchers pitch 10 or more. And the last team with 2 or more was the 92 Phillies with Terry Mulholland and Curt Schilling. And they were both old school guys from that early 80s run anyway, where good luck pulling me out early. But Danny Jackson, there's a name from the past for you. Mark Gubicza. The NBA playoff odds as of right now. The White Sox have 0%. Colorado, Washington, 0. Pittsburgh, Miami, and the Athletics at 0.2%. So you're saying they got a chance.
Wow.
But there's a big drop-off there. Seattle is the last playoff spot at 59.9%. And then the Twins at 25.9%. So big drop-off of the American League. They basically have the American League playoffs written, it looks like, according to the Fangraphs. Nationally, they're kind of giving San Diego and San Francisco a sniff. I don't know if it's because they think they're that good or they don't trust the Cardinals, one of the two. There you go. There's that. There's that there.
So this is this is playoff odds, and
Yes.
so I think that but your chance of getting in as the division winner or a wild card spot all
Yep.
combined, the Dodgers are basically a lock.
Yeah, them and the Tigers. You're gonna have to,
Mets have basically the best record in the National League, and they're down farther.
well, the
But
Mets. We'll get to the Mets later. Don't be
yes,
sorry.
it'll be interesting. But like Philly too, it's boy, that's interesting.
But any of those top teams have a 2.5 week period at the Mets. Those numbers change. This would have been a great weekend series over the weekend. The Mariners and Rangers. 12-inning game, 7-6. 10-inning game, 2-3. 12-inning game, 6-4. That would have been a fun series to be at. Got your money's worth right there.
Oh yes.
7 extra innings a bit. You almost got 4 games out of the 3 days.
Yes. Good games there.
All right, here we go. I report the news. I don't just toot my own horn. When my team craps the bed, we crap it. We do it proudly. The Mets have allowed 9+ runs in all 3 games as they were swept by the Pirates. 30-4, that sweep. They are 3-13 in the last 16 games and have been outscored 105-49.
Oh, completely uncompetitive. Wow.
And you know what? I said this at the beginning of the year. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he goes, "Boy, you must be excited they got Juan Soto." And I will pull up the texts if you don't believe me. He goes, "You must be happy you got Juan Soto." I said, "If he can't pitch, I don't care." What's the Mets' biggest problem right now after coaching? Pitching. So, like I said before, I'll say it again. Come home, Jacob deGrom. Come home.
Yeah, it's a it's a long season, and teams get to be streaky, and it's a frustrating thing. But streaky also means
Look at these odds. 3-13 could kill one of these teams right here. Look how it did to the Mets. They had the best record in baseball 3 weeks ago. They're now at 78% chance of making the playoffs.
Meaning that folks aren't high on them. If they don't win that division, they may not make it as a wild card. But Philly is higher, to get in for both. Wow.
Now, this quote of the week wasn't really said this week, but it reappeared this week. So I consider it quote of the week. Throwback to the greatest quote of all time, Ricky Williams blames pot for his failed drug tests. I got high and forgot I wasn't supposed to get high.
Well, I did see when you posted this. Yeah. This is one of the best quotes, and Ricky was one of the best NFL.
This has to be up there. Mount Rushmore of sports quotes. I think this has to be on there.
Man, was he good. He liked the weed.
He liked
this was a tremendous running back. Oh, my God. But he also had good quotes, kind of like Ricky Henderson.
See, if he could have just played basketball where they didn't care if he smoked weed, he'd have been a stud.
He could have been. But they were really after him, and he got busted all the time, it seemed like. They had a target on his back.
He's the guy that Mike did get traded every draft pick to get for the Saints, and that didn't turn out good.
Wow.
And now for Dan's favorite part.
Yes, my favorite part of the show. I'm all ears here.
Okay. First of all, if anyone's going to say anything about what I got to say on this, please listen to the entire thing first. Don't go CNN on it, take 5 words and start writing hate letters. Hear me out. Because I can understand how this is going to come out wrong. Hear me out. Caitlin Clark, Lexi Hull, and the Black Belt Barbie, Sophie Cunningham.
Yes.
They've got T-shirts now, Trelacious, which means 3 milks in Spanish, referring to 3 different types of milk used to soak the cake. Evaporated milk, sweetened condensed milk, and whole milk or heavy cream. As you see, she has shirts there with the 3 girls on it. I'm thinking of getting one myself. Here's the soapbox part. There's people complaining about this. You could have your pride shirts, and that's okay. You could have your other Black Lives Matter shirts, and that's okay. I can't breathe shirts, and that's okay. But this one's wrong. That's all I'm saying on it right there, because
I think this is awesome.
I think it's funny. I think it's funny. They're laughing at it. They're kind of going, hey, here's our shirt. The three of them are kind of been tight since they got together at training camp in the trades.
Yes.
So what? They're having fun with it. It's milky white. They're making fun of themselves, but some people have an issue with it. But you can have all those other shirts, and that's okay.
Yeah, but I think that no matter what Caitlin Clark does or what she's a part of or what she's associated with, they, meaning the general population of the haters, are going to go after it. Here's a cartoon picture T-shirt.
So you'd get it the State Fair drawing or Valley Fair drawing or something like that. Characters. She could give $5 million to cancer research, and they go, "Why didn't you give 6?"
Yeah.
You know, she can't win in the media's eyes. The fans are going to line up around the block for her.
She's
going to be there all night. The media and the other players are going to be spitting at her and making fun of her as she's busy promoting your league and helping you all make more money.
They will do anything they can to bring her down. The target on her back.
Now,
wow.
Here's my next segment. I'm going to hell for this. This is my new segment.
Is this a new segment?
New segment. I'm going to hell for this.
This I like. Okay.
Now, this kind of follows off my last bit there. Call me what you will. Are you familiar with the Ice Age movies, Dan?
A little bit.
Okay, you need to know that. If you're not, and you're watching this on YouTube, pause this. Go look at the Ice Age Disney movies there, or Pixar, whoever made them.
Yes.
Look at some of the characters first. Hi, welcome back from checking that out. Okay, here we go. Angel Reese has been cast to play Sid the Sloth.
Oh my gosh. No, that is good.
Yep.
I'm
sorry, but I saw that. I kind of teared a little laughing. It was just, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there are some creative, artistic people on the internet making these memes, and that is hilarious.
It says here, Sid the Sloth is reportedly disappointed about this. It says on there.
That is good.
So I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Also, one other thing, horse racing trainer Dwayne Lucas passed away this week also, the other day. He was a famous trainer for horses. I remember back in the day, you picked if he was training that horse for the Kentucky Derby, boom, that guy's gonna be top 3 for sure.
Okay, got it.
Dwayne Lucas, big name, horse racing. Since the Triple Crown's done, you won't hear it again until next Kentucky Derby, unfortunately. But that another name gone. Lots of singers and celebrities lately have been going. Holy cow! They go in groups. But Dave Parker, the Hall of Fame committee is gonna have to do something to change some of that. I think now that they passed the whole thing with, Pete Rose died, guess he can go to the Hall of Fame now. I think a lot of these guys who bruised the sport, and Parker for a point, should have been suspended. He got it wrong. And that's, like I said, we'll do a bonus episode on that one day this winter as a time filler. He did wrong. Paid his price. Why can't he be in the Hall of Fame still? Pete Rose, and I believe this in my heart of hearts, never bet against the Reds. He loved the Reds. Oh, my God. He'd give his left one for the Cincinnati Reds.
I agree.
Now, you kind of cheer for your own team. So you hear football players all the time talk about their fantasy football team. So if I'm on defense, but I'm playing against a quarterback who's on my fantasy team, am I really going to try to intercept that touchdown pass as we're down by 21 already? Oh, I missed a tackle. That running back needed a few more yards, but we're up or down by so many already. Is that 10 more yards going to matter? Is that gambling?
And that could be a whole soapbox episode.
These guys mentioned how they play fantasy football, fantasy baseball, fantasy basketball. Is that gambling? Yet, watch a baseball game, watch a football game every few quarters. Oh, the FanDuel betting lines changed to this. Oh, the betting line for how many 3-pointers he'll get in the game is this. So these gambling sites are sponsoring the games now, but you can't sponsor. But you can't. That's like saying, "Hey, Gatorade sponsors the game, but don't drink it, players."
And that's about the best analysis that I've heard.
I mean, NASCAR had to get rid of tobacco because tobacco is bad for you. I've known people where gambling has ruined your life almost worse than drugs and alcohol has.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we promoting gambling? Well, we put a disclaimer on there, then put the disclaimer on for the cigarettes and let NASCAR have those sponsors back. You had the disclaimers for the alcohol, put them back on the cars. But
yeah, it's a
you know,
it is a deep, deep hole to go down. Pete Rose, one of the best all time. One could argue the best baseball player of all time.
yeah,
Ever.
career
And
stroke of the
not in
head.
the Hall of Fame because they didn't like the gambling that he was doing. Well, so anyway, it's going to come down to, do you have the stats to get in? Do you have hard evidence to get in? Forget what you're like off the field. Forget what you're like.
Well, okay, let's look at this too. Let's also take life off the field, how it's affected Hall of Fame. Now, I'll die on this story. O.J. Simpson. Say what you will, he did afterwards. How did that affect his football playing career? It was years afterwards. How did that affect what he did 20, 30 years before that?
Tremendous running back. The juice.
How did that affect 20 years ago what he did?
The best of all time. So you got to keep that. You got to keep those things.
Take his awards away.
You got to keep it separate. So there's got to be something to do like that. Now with Dave Parker, what I did notice when researching him, Andy, that he also had some great ego quotes.
Yes. He was a good interview.
Great interview. Very good ego, high on himself. I love that kind of stuff. Ricky Henderson, of course, was the
and he
best.
Was that borderline cocky, positive attitude type. But then again, let's look at society back then, the late 70s. That's what it was. You know, the We Are Family, the whole culture of life at that time. He was it. He was the spokesman of 75 through 80. Dave Parker was your representative.
One of the best.
Except on roller skates. I can't picture Dave Parker on roller skates.
No. Now, that's Andy, trivia question answer.
Okay.
Dave Parker was involved in some business dealings. He owned a couple of franchises, fast food franchises.
I think I got this one.
Yes.
Okay. Reading what I did, how he said he he wanted to raise money for Parkinson's.
Yes.
I'm trying to think, Shaq got into Papa John's recently. I wonder if Dave Parker owned some of those and sold them to Shaq for the money for Parker. So I'm going to say Papa John's Pizza.
Nice. Very good answer. The answer is Popeye's Chickens.
Oh, okay.
And the ones that he had were in the Cincinnati area.
Oh, okay.
So he was involved with Popeye's Chicken, which I never knew this at all. I was researching after his death more about him on a personal level, and I love the fact that there was Popeye's Chicken franchises that he owned. Very big. He was a big guy in the Cincinnati area.
Yeah, he was still real popular there, yeah.
Very popular. And like I said earlier, you have this bad stigma against you to not get in the Hall of Fame and whatnot. And now he's raising all this money for Parkinson's over the last years, spokesman, all these things. And that's what he's going to be remembered for, all these great things that he's done. But he's
it was one of those things. I know we talked about it when we got announced to the Hall and they showed him. It broke my heart a lot to see him in the bad health because you picture big bad Dave Parker, and now he's just. It was like look at Steve McMichael, how Garrett just took away big Steve McMichael, took that all away from him. But Dave Parker, there was still something about him as he sat there with Parkinson's destroying his body, sitting in that chair. I think it was Cincinnati or Pittsburgh where they retired his number, and he still had that look in his eye like, I will kick your ass. He still had that positive look in his eye that, cross me, I dare you. And that's what I respect about Dave Parker. He's, as Parkinson's was beating him down, he stood that look in his eye like, bring it on. I don't, you ain't got nothing.
And an article I read today, USA Today, did say that, he was praying just to live to this Cooperstown event, praying to make it just a few weeks for next month's induction ceremony. And if not, to make it, to be alive, to listen to his son give the induction speech. His son's giving it.
Yeah, because he can't, his voice is gone.
And so the son is going to give it. And what it would have meant to him to hear that coming from his son at the podium for his induction speech. And now you miss out altogether. So died just a few weeks short, but it's going to be a huge thing at Cooperstown. It's going to be the Dave Parker show now. I think
I would have said this with Dave Parker being alive, listening to his son have to give a speech. But now that Dave Parker's passed, if you don't cry after that speech, you have no soul.
It's going to be.
I'll tell you right now, just because of the emotion and the air around there.
Yeah, and the timing.
You get a little misty. You have no soul.
The Cobra was one of the best. Man, was he good. Well, watch the induction ceremony. Yes. We got a couple weeks to go here before that. Yep. But Cooperstown, the son is going to be giving the bringing him in the induction speech. That should be very, very good. If you have any comments, questions below, maybe some old photos, baseball cards. That you've had, posters of Dave Parker, share them here on the show. But if not, we'll see you next week. It's going to be
photos of you and the boys bopping with your hats on. I want to see that.
Bopping, the boys bopping. And 4th of July coming up this week. We will touch base on Monday when we're into July.
All right. See ya.
See ya.